Hello and welcome. This video is all about teaching you the English language. So today's lesson is all about nouns because nouns are a very important component in the English language, especially when you're speaking and writing, because if you watched the previous video on simple basic structure of English sentences, you know that an English sentence needs to have a noun. So I'm going to take a look at this sentence. Jane Addams opened Hull House in Chicago in the late 1800s. There are a lot of words there, but do you recognize which one are the nouns? Before we can answer that question, we need to know what's a noun. So today's lesson, we're going to be focusing on nouns. And a noun is a person, place, or a thing. Now, they even include idea in the definition of a noun. So if it's a dream that you have an idea, something that's in your head. So a person, place, or thing. What are those? Well, do me a favor. Can you just pause the video and look around the room? What do you see? Well, I see a table, a computer, bookcase, basket, even Pete the cat, right? A toy. All of these things are nouns. Nouns are everywhere that you look. You're in a building or a house, if you're in a park or a playground, if you're at school or work, if you see a boy or a girl, a man or a woman, a teacher or a student, all of these are nouns. A person is the human. So that's important because we love our pets, but pets are not people. So animals would not be in the same category as people or a person. Person, we mean humans. So as I said, a boy or a girl, a man or a woman, a teacher or a student, an office worker, a priest, any of these people fall into the category of person and is a noun. A place. A place is anywhere that you can go. So if I go home or to a building, if I go to a park, or if I go to New York City, these are places. Places is somewhere that you go. And what about a thing? Well, any object or something that is not a person is in the category of a thing. A thing can be a table, a cup, or a chair. And then remember I said about pets and animals, they're not people? Well, they would be grouped into the category of things. So when you say thing, you're referring to also animals. So a person, place, thing / animals. I'm going to hold off on this concept of idea for right now. And I want to focus on people, places, and things. So what are some examples of nouns? Now, nouns have different categories. A noun, as I said, can be a boy or a girl. And when I write these words, do you notice something? The first letter in these words are lowercase. They're small. Why? Because these are called common nouns. Common nouns can be any person, place, or thing, and they always get a lowercase letter. So an example of a common noun for a place would be a park, or a school. These are also common. It could be any person, place, or thing, any park, any school. Common noun, it gets a lowercase letter. What about an example of a common thing? Desk or a table. Again, it could be any desk, any table. They're all common, which means they get a lowercase letter. Now, you might have noticed that some nouns or words and sentences have a large case or an uppercase if they're not at the beginning of a sentence. Well, if I specifically name a person, like me, Melody, I always write my name with a capital letter, and so do you. Why? Because that's called a proper noun. A proper noun in the English language is a specific person, place, or thing. What about a place? New York City, for example. New York City names a specific place, not just anywhere, but specifically New York City. So the N, the Y, and the C always get capitalized. And what about a specific thing? Well, if I name a specific building, so for example, if I'm talking about the specific building, City Hall, that is a proper noun. It gets capital letters because it's not just any building, but I'm specifically talking about this building here that is named City Hall. It can also fall into a category of a place because it is somewhere that I could go. So nouns can be common, any person, place, or thing, or it can be proper. I'm going to talk about another category of nouns, and that's singular and plural. And what do I mean by singular? Well, in the name, it should sound like a word that you might have heard before, single. Single means one. So one person, one place, or one thing is a singular noun. Singular nouns are written as is. There's nothing added to that noun. So I can say boy, woman, or table. All of these are singular nouns, which means it's talking about one boy, one woman, one table. But what is the opposite of singular? Well, if singular means one, plural means more than one. So that's two or more. Now, if I wanted to talk about plural nouns, there's something that needs to happen. In the English language, you're going to add an S or an ES at the end of the word in order for us to know that you're talking about more than one. Now, check out the video that goes specifically into plural and singular nouns and the rules in adding S or ES. I'm not going to specifically get into that right now, but I will give you some examples. So in my other example, I said boy. Boy meant one. Well, now, if I'm talking about more than one, I'm going to add an S at the end of the word boy, boys. That tells me that there's more than one. Or if we have the word bench, right? Bench, somewhere that you sit. Now, in order for me to make this from singular to plural, I'm going to need to add an ES at the end. Benches. The ES tells me that it is more than one. There are several benches in the park. The boys are playing outside. Now, plural nouns can also have different forms. They do not add an S or an ES to them. For example, I said for singular, woman. Well, for plural, we would say women. The A changed to an E. It does not follow the rule of adding an S or an ES. So this falls into a special category of plural nouns. Again, if you want to learn more about how to write plural nouns and whether you add an S, an ES, or if it changes completely, check out the video on plural nouns. So what is a noun? A noun is a person, a place, or a thing. And remember, animals fall into the category of a thing. A person can be a teacher, a student, a mailman, a professor. Place could be a college, a post office, a police station. A thing can be a light, a bookcase, a computer. Nouns are very important in the English language because in order to form a sentence, whether you're talking or whether you're writing something down, you need to have a noun in that sentence. There are different types of nouns, and I didn't even get into the other categories of nouns. We just covered two groups of nouns. We have a common and a proper noun, and a singular and a plural noun. So remember, a common noun can be anything. Any person, place, or thing. A proper noun names a specific person, place, or thing. Do you notice the difference? A common noun always gets a lowercase letter. A proper noun, as in my name, Melody, gets a capital letter. Now, singular or plural nouns, if it's one person, place, or thing, I can use the example of girl again, it's written as is. That tells me it's one. But if there were more than one, I can add an S at the end, and this is going to tell me that there's more than one girl. There are many girls.